Hello students, welcome back to our next lecture of plant anatomy, and today we will see the permanent tissues. As in our previous lecture we have seen that based on the activity of based on the activity of division, or whether the cells divide or not, these are of two types, that is meristematic and permanent tissues. So the meristematic tissues, they are young and actively dividing cells. They are continuously divide to add more and more new tissues. Okay. Now, while division, they form a new cells. And now these newly formed cells, from this meristematic tissues, these newly formed group of cells, they do not further take part in the division, or you can say they lose the ability of the division. They do not have the capacity to further divide. Why? Because they get mature or they get differentiated. Okay. So meristematic tissues, they are continuously dividing tissues. After forming new cells, they again divide. Then again form new tissues, then again they redivide, and this process is continued till, that is, throughout the life of the plant body. Okay, but some cells or some group of cells which are that is developed from the meristematic tissues, they are stable now. They are fixed or they are stable. They do not further divide, or they lose their ability to divide. That group of cells is known as the permanent tissues. Hence the name is given to them, that is the permanent, because they get their permanent identity and their permanent function. Okay. So this permanent tissue, what is this permanent tissue? This group of cells which lose their ability to redivide form a group, that is to perform a particular function. They gain a particular structure. That group of cell is known as permanent tissue, or you can say the mature tissue. Where they are located? As you know that the meristematic tissues, they are located in a plant body at a specific regions only. Okay. As we have seen that when these meristematic tissues, they are present at the apices of the root and the shoot, then they are known as the apical meristematic tissues. Okay. They are responsible for the growth, for the that is to develop or to grow the plants in length. Okay. So when these meristematic tissues, when they are present at the node, at the base of the node, or at the base of the leaf blade, then that meristematic tissue is known as the intercalary meristematic tissue. Okay. And when they are present at the lateral part of the plant body, and they are responsible for the horizontal growth of the plant body, that meristematic tissue is known as lateral meristematic tissues. Yes. So they are located at the specific point of the plant body, and they are responsible for the growth. But these permanent tissues, they are found everywhere in the plant body, or you can say they form the bulk of the plant body. Okay. These permanent tissues, they forms a bulk of the whole plant body. That is, whole plant body is made up of these permanent tissues only. Okay. So it may be present in woody stem, older roots, or it may be present in woody parts like midrib of the leaf. You can see in the picture the structure of leaf, that is the midrib of the leaf. In the petiole of the leaf, there is a presence of permanent tissues. Okay, this midrib is made up of the complex permanent tissues, or the surface of that leaf and the petiole of the leaf is made up of simple permanent tissues. Okay, it may also present in the young stem also, and it also present in very soft part of the plant body, that is in flowers or in pulp of the fruit also. So this is the permanent tissues, they are found everywhere in the plant body. Without permanent tissues, plant body is not formed, it is not possible. Okay, so this is the main function, or this is the main importance of the permanent tissues. Okay, so let's start, that is let's go into the more detail about the permanent tissues. What is the characteristics of permanent tissues? So after they lose their ability to divide, these permanent tissues, they get differentiated, or in other words they become specialized. Okay, that is meristematic tissues, they are undifferentiated. Okay, they don't have any specialized or specific structure and function. But in this case, the permanent tissues, they are differentiated. Differentiated means what? They get their specific structure and function. Okay, they got their permanent structure and function. Okay, so the cells of these permanent tissues, they have definite shape, size and function. Got it? So these tissues, they may be living or dead. Or living means when the protoplasm is active in the cells, then it is a living cells. And when the protoplasm is not active or it is functionless, then it is a dead tissue. So in permanent tissues, there is two types of that is cells are present. That is living as well as dead cells. Living cells, they are the parenchymatous and collenchymatous, and the dead cells, they are the vascular tissues, or you can say the sclerenchymatous tissues. Okay, the cell wall of this permanent tissue, it is thin or thick. It depends on the structure. It depends on which type of permanent tissue it is. So in case of parenchymatous tissue, it is thin walled, and or in case of collenchymatous and sclerenchymatous tissues, it is differently thickened, that is cell wall. Cell wall is made up of various that is substances. It may be made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, lignin, suberin. All these are the complex organic that is forms which are deposited on the cell wall. Okay, this is related with the how the permanent tissues are. These are the characteristics of permanent tissues. So in this figure or in this slide, you can see the picture that various types of permanent tissues are located in the particular organ. As we have seen, or we have learned the level of organization. Okay, so this level of organization, we see that the group of tissues forms the organ. So this is one of the organ of the plant body. That is, it is a stem of the plant, and it shows, this slide shows the internal structure of the stem. So in that internal structure, you can see every type of permanent tissues. Every type of permanent tissues, that is the parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, then xylem, phloem, all these types of tissues you can see in this picture. So it consists of, again, the simple and the simple and the complex tissues. So what do you mean by simple and complex tissues? Simple tissues, these simple tissues, that is permanent tissue, it is made up of two types of tissues, that is simple and complex. So simple tissue, it consists of only one type of cell, whereas the complex tissue, it consists of two or more than two different types of cells. Or you can say simple tissues, they are made up of similar type of cells having similar structure and similar function. But in case of complex tissue, there is this that is the tissues, they are made up of different types of cells. That means the cells they are present in that tissue, they are structurally different. Okay, so but perform a particular specific function. So simply, when we define the simple tissue, it is made up of only one type of cells, and in complex it is made up of more than one type of cells. Okay, so this is the difference between simple and complex. Both are permanent tissues, both are specialized, both are differentiated. Okay, but in this differentiation, or in this, when there is a formation of group, in case of simple tissue, formation of similar cells, that is the similar cells come together to form a group in case of simple tissue. And in case of complex tissue, there is a the gathering of, or the different structurally different types of tissues come together to form a group. Okay, got the point? Okay, now let's see the again the classification of these permanent tissues. So first of all, this permanent tissue, it is of two types, simple and complex. Then these simple tissues again further divided into three types of tissues, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Okay, then complex tissue again further divided into two, that is xylem and phloem. This xylem and phloem together is known as the vascular tissues, because vascular tissues, they conduct the, that is water and nutrients to every part of the plant body. It is a conducting tissue also. It is known as conducting tissue. Now simple tissue, which are of three types, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Then these parenchyma, this differentiation or this division, it is based on the thickening of the cell wall, or again the intercellular present spaces present or absent, and their structure, their function and all these. So there are three types. Now these parenchymatous tissue, they are further have many types, that is it is chlorenchymatous, it is erenchymatous, it is prosenchymatous, it is mesophilous tissue, it is, again there are various types of parenchymatous tissues. Then in sclerenchymatous tissue also there are again subtypes, that is sclerenchymatous tissues consist of two tissues, that is fibers and sclerids. That is elongated, fibers are elongated, and sclerids, they are not elongated, they are circular or oval in shape. Okay, chlorenchymatous tissue, they are made up of palisade and spongy parenchyma. Okay, so this is about the flow chart, or the general that is outlook of the classification of permanent. Now we will see one by one in detail. So yes, but before that is we get into these tissues in detail, let me clear about some anatomical terminologies with you. Okay, you have to know some of the terminologies, you have to know some of the things which are used in anatomical studies. First of all, we see the cross section. Have you heard about the cross section? How the section takes, we can take how sections were taken, and all these. Yeah. For example, let's took an example, that is example of stem. Now this stem, that is cylindrical stem, it has a central axis. Every stem has a central axis. Likewise, our body is a central axis. Okay, so the stem has a central axis, and when we cut the stem, that is when we cut, as seen in the first figure, that when we cut the stem in the perpendicular to the central axis. Okay, when we cut that stem that is perpendicular to the central axis, that is this way. Okay, so this is the transverse section of the that stem. Okay, and when we cut the stem that is parallel to the central axis, when we cut the slice that is parallel to the central axis, and when we cut that slice and we have a section, that section is known as longitudinal section. Got the point? That is, what is the transverse section and what is the longitudinal section. Okay, transverse section means this is the axis, and transverse section means when we cut perpendicular to that axis, and the longitudinal section means when we cut parallel to the axis. Okay, so if we cut perpendicular to the axis, we got the transverse section, and when we cut parallel to the central axis, then we got the longitudinal section. Okay, when we see the term cross section, it is referred as TS. Okay, section means when there is a transverse section, the short form of that is TS, and when it is a longitudinal section, the short form is LS. Okay, in anatomy, it is important to study the organ or to study the plant in both by both the sections. Okay, to analyze after analyzing the transverse and longitudinal sections, we come to know the exact structure of that tissues or exact structure of that organ. Okay, so these two sections, they are important. Which are they? Transverse and longitudinal sections. So I will explain why it is important. Let us take an example. That is, in figure you can see the image of cucumber. Okay, you all know how cucumber looks like, but suppose if two persons, they are not knowing the exact structure of the cucumber. So when we show them the longitudinal section, they think that the cucumber is like a elongated structure, like a bean. Okay, and when we show them the transverse section of the cucumber, then they think that, or they imagine that the cucumber is like the circular or the orange shaped structure. Okay, both the persons, they have their imagination. Why? Because that portion they saw, on the basis of that, that is their observation, they imagine what the cucumber looks like. But we know that both of them, they are wrong. Cucumber is neither bean like or neither orange like. So when we show them both the sections together, then they that is the image is clear in their mind that cucumber is like this. Okay, so that's why both in anatomy, or to know a particular that is a structure of the any plant tissues and organ, we have to study its longitudinal as well as transverse sections. Okay, so this is how the this cross sections helps in studying the anatomy. Okay, now okay, just a minute. Yes, now come to our first tissue, that is of permanent it is a first type of permanent tissue, that is simple tissue. It consists of one type of cells, as we have discussed earlier. This simple tissue, it is made up of only single type of or one type of cells. That is all the cells they form, when they form the tissue, they are looks alike. Okay, they are similar in structure, and perform a similar function. They have a specialized structure, okay, and function. Then these simple tissues, they are of, again, as we seen in the flow chart, that is, they are of three types: parenchyma, then collenchyma, and the sclerenchyma. Okay, so before going to see the detail, let's look at the image of the simple tissues. In that slide, you see the three types of tissues: parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue, and the sclerenchyma tissue. What's how you differentiate these three by seeing this picture? So please look at the image carefully and note down your that is observations, and write down the differences you see in this figure. Okay, so this is your homework. Okay, in this figure you see the elongated and the circular or oval shape structure. So this is the transverse and longitudinal section of the tissues, that is in parenchyma. When we see the TS, then the cells are somewhat circular or oval in shape, or polygonal in shape. But in longitudinal section, we see these cells are elongated cells. Okay. Similar in the case of collenchyma and sclerenchyma tissue. Okay. So by looking at the LS alone or at the TS alone, we cannot that is guess, or we cannot predict the exact that is structure of the tissues. Okay, so transverse as well as longitudinal sections, they are needed, or they are very important to understand how the structure of any type of tissue is. Okay, unless we have both TS and LS, then we cannot have a full image or full insight about the shape, size of the cells. Okay, so let's start with our first tissue, that is parenchyma. Okay, now this is the first tissue of the simple permanent tissue. Parenchyma tissue, they are isodiametric. Cells of these parenchymatous tissues, they are isodiametric. That means they may be a circular, they may be a oval, they may be a polygonal, or they may be a elongated. Okay, so when in TS, when we see this tissue, it looks circular, oval, or polygonal in shape. You see the three types of that is shapes in this figure. First one is it is somewhat circular. Second picture shows the oval type of cells, and the third one, it shows the polygonal shape. Okay, and in LS it looks like a elongated cells. Okay, so it is of various, that is the shape of the cells, they are of various types in parenchymatous tissues. Okay, the main thing in the parenchymatous tissue, it is thin walled cells. That is, the wall which is made up of cellulose is thin. There is no any deposition in the primary cell wall. That is, there is no secondary deposition of any substances or any material on this wall. Hence, they are thin walled cells. Okay, and due to the thin walled cells, and due to the non-deposition of any substances on the cell, when these cells come together, or the circular, or the oval, or the polygonal, when they come together, they loosely arranged. Their arrangement is somewhat loose. Why? When you have two balls with you, cricket balls or tennis balls, and you join that balls, or 4 or 5 balls, you join them together. So when you join them, are they fixed together, or they compactly arranged with each other? No, because they leave some space while they join with or they attach with each other. Likewise, these thin-walled parenchymatous cells, when they come together to form a group, they are loosely arranged. Okay, because their wall is thin. Now these when they attach with each other, they left some spaces, and that spaces, that is the spaces the space between the two cells, that space is known as the intercellular space. That is, inter means that is the between the two. So intercellular means the between two cells. Okay, space, that is the space which is formed in between the two cells. That gap or that space, it is known as the intercellular space. It is the characteristic feature of parenchymatous tissue, thin walled and intercellular spaces. Okay, so they are located in various parts of the plant body. Okay, so these tissues, they are living tissues. Again, living and dead tissue. In case of simple tissues, both the tissues, they are present, living as well as dead. In the parenchyma tissue, it is living tissue because that is a dense cytoplasm, or you can say the protoplasm is present in the cell. Protoplasm, it is the that is cytoplasm plus all cell organelles. They together form the together structure. It is known as protoplasm. Protoplasm is dense and nucleus is distinct. Okay, so okay, they are abundantly present in all parts of the plant body. Based on their structure and function and where they are located, these parenchymatous tissues, they are of different types. Okay, they are of different types. Let's look at the quick look at the that is the types of parenchymatous tissues. So these parenchymatous tissues, when there is a presence of chlorophyll pigments in some parenchymatous tissues. Chlorophyll pigments means it is related with the photosynthesis. Okay, so these tissues, they perform the function of photosynthesis because chlorophyll pigments are present in these tissues. So where they found? They are found in that is the young stem or leaf region. So this type of tissue, this type of parenchymatous tissue, when having the chlorophyll pigments in them, they are known as chlorenchyma. Okay, so based on the chlorophyll pigments present in the parenchyma, chlorenchyma. Okay, same is the case. This is about the arenchyma. So when parenchymatous tissue, that is when there is a presence of a large cavity, and in that cavity there is a presence of air or gases, and that tissue, when there is a presence of large cavity having air or spaces, that tissue is known as arenchyma. Air and parenchyma, that is arenchyma. These type of tissues, they are present in aquatic plants, or you can say in hydrophytic plants. Why it is present? There is a network of these tissues, okay, with air spaces for gaseous exchange. There is a circulation of air takes place in that tissue, and it makes by filling the air in the tissues, it makes the plant lighter in weight. It makes the plant lighter in weight, hence they become float on the water. Hence hydrophytes or the aquatic plants, they float on the water due to the presence of these arenchymatous tissues which contains air in their cavities. Okay, so these arenchymatous tissues perform the function of gaseous exchange, circulation of the air into the plant body, and also somewhat they give the support to the plant body and make the plant body buoyant. Okay, this is about erenchymatous tissue. These tissues, they are found in all types of hydrophytes. It may be found in Hydrilla, Vallisneria, then Eichhornia, all the floating plants. Also, they are found in the terrestrial plant, that is in petiole of banana plant and the canna plant. Okay, so this is erenchyma. Then further, you can see the prosenchyma tissue. Now here the prosenchymatous tissue, it looks somewhat elongated, polygonal in shape, and they are somewhat compactly arranged with each other, and their wall becomes thick as compared to the other tissues. So these prosenchymatous, it is a specialized parenchymatous tissues. They are present for a specific function in a specific area. As their wall become thick, they give the support or rigidity to that plant body. Okay, so this is the prosenchymatous tissues. Now, what is mesophyll parenchyma? You know that chlorenchymatous tissues, that is when there is a presence of chlorophyll pigments in that tissues. These chlorenchymatous tissues, they are of again two types. It is based on the structure or shape of the tissues. It is of two types. These mesophyll tissue, they become a palisade or spongy parenchyma, or when they are elongated in shape and somewhat compactly arranged with each other, having the chlorophyll pigment, that chlorenchymatous tissue is known as palisade chlorenchyma, or you can call it parenchyma. Okay, and when the tissue having chlorophyll pigments, they are circular or oval in shape and somewhat loosely arranged. That is, there is a lot of intercellular spaces in between them. So this type of tissue, it is spongy parenchyma. Okay, so together this palisade and the spongy parenchyma, it is known as mesophyll tissues or mesophyll parenchyma. Okay, in dicot, both types of mesophyll tissues are found, but in monocot, there are only one type of tissue is there. Okay, so on the basis of where these parenchymatous tissues are found, it is again a xylem parenchyma. When these parenchymatous tissues, they are present in the xylem tissue, as we know that this xylem is the type of complex tissue, and complex tissue is made up of different types of cells. So among that different type of cells, xylem parenchyma is one of them. Okay, so this parenchymatous tissues, when present in they are the one of the part of the xylem tissue, it is known as xylem parenchyma. It gives support and it helps in conduction of water and storage. Okay, when the parenchymatous tissues, they forms the epidermis of any plant organ. Epidermis is the outermost layer of any plant body, and when this epidermis is made up of parenchyma, then it is known as epidermal parenchyma. This epidermal parenchyma, in case of various types of plants, whether it may be a xerophytic or it may be hydrophytic or all these helophytics. So depending on the nature or depending on the outer atmosphere, these parenchymatous tissues, they may be thin or they develop a thick, that is protective covering on it. It may be a cuticle or subberine, made up of cuticle. It is a wax-like substance or subberine. Okay, this is about the types of parenchymatous tissues, various types of parenchymatous tissues, their structure and their function. Okay, so where it is located, as we know that it forms the it is found everywhere in the plant body, that is every soft part of the plant body it is located, that is the soft areas of stem, root, leaves, flowers and fruits also. Okay, there is that is the ground tissue, that is the fundamental part of the any organ. That is the ground part of any organ which is made up of parenchymatous tissue. Okay. So what are they do in the plants? Yes, they have different functions. According to their structure, according to their location, they have different structures. The storage of food material, they store the food material in many plants of plants. They may be food material stored in the tuber form, in the rhizome form, and all these. Okay, so this is the first function of the parenchymatous tissue. Is main function is storage. When there is a chlorenchymatous tissue, that means when there is a chlorophyll pigments in them, they conduct the function, that is photosynthesis. They helps to that is prepare food material, and then that food material then stored in the plant body by parenchymatous tissues. Okay, then aerenchyma, as we have seen in the earlier slide, that is air spaces, air cavities when present. These aerenchymatous tissues, they are present in the aquatic plants, and they help that plants to make the floating, and also gaseous exchange, air circulation, and give the support to that plant. Okay, then there are some secretory type of parenchymatous tissues, they are present. Some latex or some substances, they are derived from the plant body, and these substances, they are used for the various purposes. Okay, so for example, that is uh, resin, tannin, then gum. These are the some substances which are secreted by the, or some type of, again, other substances are also there. So these substances, they are present in a specialized tissues, and that is known as the secretory parenchymatous tissues. Okay, so this is also, they secrete the some substances, that is resin and other substances. Then above all, they maintain the turgidity of the plant body. They maintain the turgidity of the plant body means they maintain the turgidity of the cells, and due to maintaining the turgidity, they gives the plant organs rigidity. Maintaining turgidity and gives rigidity. Yes, they give strength and makes the plant organ rigid. And to rigid means what? Somewhat strong. Okay, so this is about the function of that is parenchymatous tissues. This is all about the simple permanent tissue, that is the first simple permanent tissue, that is known as parenchyma. Okay, now this is all about the today's lecture, and we will see the next simple permanent tissues, that is cholenchyma and sclerenchyma, in our next lecture. So have you got the whole things? What is meristematic tissue? What is permanent tissues? Okay, meristematic tissues, they are undifferentiated. Permanent tissues, they are differentiated. Meristematic tissues, they are continuously dividing cells, while permanent tissues, they are stable, that is they do not divide further. Okay, so meristematic tissues, they do not have specific shape and structure and function, but function, not specific structure, but permanent tissues, they got their specific structure. Okay, they are in that is meristematic tissues, they are immature tissues, while permanent tissues, they are mature tissues. So you better understand the difference between the meristematic and the permanent tissues. These permanent tissues, they are derived from the meristematic tissues. Okay, and they fix, or they stable, or they get mature. Now these permanent tissues, they are of two types, simple and complex. That is, when the similar cells forms a group, that is simple tissue, and when dissimilar different cells forms a group, that is complex tissue. Simple tissue is made up of only one type of cells, and the complex tissue is made up of different types of cells. Okay, this is the about the two types of permanent tissues, simple as well as complex. Now we have seen in this lecture the first simple tissue, that is parenchymatous tissue. Okay, we know that now that the parenchymatous tissues, what is the structure of parenchymatous tissues, what is the functions related to various types of parenchymatous tissues. Okay, what are the characteristics of parenchymatous tissues, where they are located, and which parts they are in which parts of the plant body they are present. All these things we are studying in this lecture. So this is all the end of this lecture, and we will meet at this in our next lecture. Till then, thank you very much. Stay with me and stay tuned. Thank you.